Welcome to Horn Africa Insight, your tri-weekly dive into Horn Africa's biggest stories. From Egypt's Nile stance to Sudan's humanitarian crisis, Ethiopia's crypto halt, human rights abuses, and Gaza resettlement talks, we've got it covered. Subscribe and dive in. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi firmly rejected unilateral actions in the eastern Nile basin, vowing to protect Egypt's water security during a press conference with Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. El-Sisi warned that Egypt, wholly dependent on the Nile, would not tolerate threats to its water share, likely referencing Ethiopia's Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD.
So if we say that these 1,600 and the 85, then the 85 is only 4% of this volume of water we're talking about. What does this mean? When I ask for this water and this volume of water to reach Egypt and Sudan so that we can survive because we do not have any other water resource, by saying so, am I against the...
He supported development like the Uganda-Kenya Ngololo Dam, but stressed no impact on Egypt's water. Museveni, via his ex-social media, urged prioritizing global needs over historical rights, aligning with the 2024 Cooperative Framework Agreement backed by 7 Nile Basin countries, opposed by Egypt and Sudan. The leaders signed MOUs on water management, agriculture, and investment. Her president's official website highlights Egypt's outreach to Nile states, but its strained ties with Ethiopia, unresolved after a decade of GERD talks, raise concerns. As some says Egypt's stance, echoed by Sudan, contrasts with upstream nations' push against colonial-era agreements. This diplomatic push, linked to August 13's Egypt-Uganda talks, underscores Nile Basin tensions. Consensus via Uganda's committee is key to balancing development and water security. The U.S. Department of State's 2024 Human Rights Report details severe abuses in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, and Kenya. In Ethiopia, despite a 2022 Tigray ceasefire, conflicts in Amhara and Oromia with Fano militia and Oromo Liberation Army persisted, with extrajudicial killings and arbitrary detentions reported during a 2023-2024 Amhara state of emergency, per at HRW. Eritrea saw ongoing disappearances, torture, and media restrictions, with no government action against officials. Sudan's 2023 conflict between the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, and Rapid Support Forces, RSF, led to war crimes, ethnic cleansing, and genocide by RSF and allied militias, killing over 20,000 civilians, per at UN. Kenya faced abuses during June-July 2024 protests, including unlawful killings and arrests, with limited accountability, per at Amnesty. X posts at HRW at UN highlight widespread impunity and media crackdowns across the region. These issues challenge East Africa's stability, seen in Somalia's security efforts, August 13 news episode. Addressing abuses requires robust investigations and reforms to restore freedoms and protect civilians in conflict zone. Israel is reportedly in talks with South Sudan to resettle Palestinians from Gaza, part of a voluntary migration plan, per AP, citing 6 sources. Israeli PM Netanyahu supports relocating Gaza's population, aligning with a vision by U.S. President Donald Trump, per I-24. South Sudan's foreign ministry denied the talks, calling them baseless. The proposal, raising human rights concerns, could strengthen South Sudan-Israel ties, per Joe Slavik. Egypt opposes Gaza resettlement, fearing refugee influx, per Egyptian officials. Similar talks with Sudan and Somaliland were reported, per AP. X posts at Middle East Eye highlight global criticism of potential forced expulsions. The plan risks moving people from one war-torn region to another. South Sudan's instability and humanitarian challenges make it a controversial choice. International law and civilian consent are critical to avoid violations, with Egypt's stance shaping regional dynamics. In Sudan's El-Fasher, a 14-month Rapid Support Forces, RSF, siege has caused starvation and a cholera outbreak, with 100,000 cases and 2,470 deaths, per MSF and BBC News. Civilians, trapped in squalid camps, face skyrocketing food prices, with $5,000 buying one meal for 1,500 people, per the Norwegian Refugee Council. The UN reports over 20,000 civilian deaths, with RSF and SAF clashes escalating, per @UN. Hospitals lack therapeutic food, and children die of malnutrition, per Dr. Ibrahim Abdullah Khater. X posts, at BBC World, amplify calls for a humanitarian pause, but RSF fears aid supports SAF militias, per @Sudan Tribune. Ethiopia halted new crypto mining power permits to protect its grid, per Ethiopian Electric Power, EEP. Crypto mining consumes 27% of Ethiopia's electricity, driven by cheap hydropower like the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, attracting 25 Bitcoin firms, per @Addis Standard. EEP's shift prioritizes domestic access, as 50% of Ethiopians lack reliable electricity, especially in rural areas. Last year, EEP earned 75.4 billion birr, with households using 60%, crypto 27%, and exports 7% to Kenya, Djibouti, and Sudan, per @Ethioelectric. The GERD, nearing full operation, will add 5,000 megawatts, with plans to export to Somalia and South Sudan. As some criticizes that mining benefits foreign firms over locals, balancing renewable growth with grid stability is key to ensuring power for all citizens. That's East Africa Insight for August 15th, 2025. From Nile tensions to Sudan's crisis, we've got East Africa covered. Subscribe, hit the bell, and comment below.